Hello, hello, hello. We are back on Shit Happens, and I am missing my guest right now. Um, hmm. Let me make sure I sent her the invitation. Could be me. Could be the fact that I did not send her the link. Hold on. Who's this? Yeah, I might have not sent Amy the link. All right. That's on me. I am gonna go ahead and send Amy the link right now. Invite guest, but she also hasn't reached out to me, so I am not sure if she's aware. But we're here. I am here. I am live. And I'm supposed to be hanging out with Amy, who I'm hoping will be joining us shortly. Otherwise, it is raining in Atlanta, Georgia. I hate this weather, and I still have another call at 10 o'clock. We have another one at 10 o'clock. Why can't I get Amy's email address? I'm trying to get Amy's email address, and it's giving me such a hard time. Okay, let's see. Let's see how I can do this. Let's see how I can do this. What's Amy's email address? So this will be probably the first time I'm getting stood up, right? Don't you love that? It's funny when you get stood up on Shit Happens, but then again, it is Shit Happens. Shit does happen, I guess, right? We go with the flow. Bear with me as I find Amy's address. Amy's Garden Jam. There we go. But I also haven't heard from her, so I hope she's okay. I don't know. So how long do you think I should stay in here, as I have not received a message either from Amy asking about the link or anything, so I'm hoping she's okay. But I know she was excited to come on. So apart from that, my day has been incredibly amazing. I was talking to a friend, right? After my live, I went live. I go live every Tuesday at 9 a.m. It's this segment called Say Your Shit, where I talk about my shit. Whatever shit I have going on during the week, or plans I have, or the shit that happened during the weekend, and all that stuff. So, as I was on there, my friend Noreen, Sarah's sisters, was on, And she was like, I'm calling you as soon as you're done with this. And she called me. And we were just chatting it up. And she was telling me she did a commercial, right? And we were talking about being open on on video, being uh, yourself and going on video and doing it with somebody or doing it solo. And I realized that I also want to do a commercial for Shit Happens. So I will be hanging out with a bunch of creators next weekend. So maybe I'll shoot a Shit Happens commercial. I feel like, it's something fun to do. And my guest is here. I'm gonna go ahead. Hello, Amy. I thought you stood me up.
Oh, sorry. No, I couldn't find the link. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay. And I was like, wait, but she hasn't messaged me or anything. So what is going on? But I was hoping you also okay, like because I was like, I know she was excited to be here. So it can't be me.
That is that is true.
How are you
Um,
doing, baby?
hello. I am fine. Thank you. How are you?
A little bit gloomy because Atlanta decided to be rainy and gloomy and dark and sad, and I hate this weather, but otherwise I'm okay.
It's all those things in Maine too. It is.
Like I hate when the weather is like that and I have shit to do or to come up on live and be energetic because I don't mind if I have shit to do, but if I don't have to be on live, my energy can be whatever it is, nobody cares.
Right. Yeah, you just don't feel all chipper and fun. You just want to be cozy. You want to be curled up and yeah, I hear you.
Like I even work lazy, like I'll be in my bed with a notebook, but comfortable and cozy. But when it's actually nice outside, I'm like, okay, it feels like a work day.
Yeah, I hear you.
So, when I read your Bible, why am I saying your Bible? God, that shows that I didn't read my Bible this morning. That's a reminder that I need to go read my Bible tonight.
Oh,
But I loved when I was reading your bio how you said season of discovery instead of midlife crisis. I want us to talk about that. I love how you chose to say season of discovery because fuck midlife crisis, right? Why does it have to be a midlife crisis? Why can't it be midlife crisis? Feels like you have given up or you're fine. Like I don't know. I don't like
100%.
it.
Yeah, no, and it totally was. That's how it was for me. I felt like I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in this like midlife crisis. My life is falling apart. Who even am I and what am I doing?" And I was talking to some friends and who are podcasters and I was like, "I don't know what to do. Like I don't know why I'm doing this." And they're like, let's just rephrase it. How about that? We'll just give it a different name. And so season of discovery is what it is. And so like last year I was like it's the season of yes. Like I just said yes to every opportunity that came up um and it was fun.
I love that. So what I want us to talk about this season of discovery of yours. Like what got into this. Well, we know how you switched your mindset, but when did this season of discovering begin, and what came out of that? Take us to this journey of season of discovery. For those people out there who are feeling like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this midlife crisis, or oh my God, I feel so different, so I don't know what to do with myself. Especially when you have people around you who are constantly saying you have changed, like it's such a bad thing, like changing or redefining you or rediscovering you is such a bad thing. So
Right? Yeah, I mean, so it's it kind of came out of a bunch of stuff. Like it's been a few years, I think. I feel like it's been a few years. Like I was in a car accident 4 years ago and I was out of work for a little bit and then when I went back to work, they didn't save my job, so I only had part-time work and so I had to leave that job. And that was just as it was like March 2020.
oh wow.
So that was just as COVID was closing everything down. It was literally that same week. And so then I was out of a job and I was like, "Oh my gosh, like I don't I was like, I don't even have skills. Like I don't have formal training. I don't have a college degree. Like what do I have to offer anyone, anything? I have nothing. And so I was like taking temp jobs for like 2 years, and I took a job, and like I was just bouncing around for like 2 years. And then I finally found this job, um, and I started a jam business. I have a jam business. So that came out of the car accident, the time I was out of work, because I was out for 4 months, and I was like, I'm out of work for 4 months. I'm sitting on my butt. I literally cannot walk. So I'm just going to sit on the phone, because when else do I have the opportunity to do that? And just wait for someone to pick up the phone and give me the answers that I need. So by the time I was able to walk again, I had a kitchen set up. I had my license. I had, my LLC. I had my EIN, like all that stuff, all set. So when I was able to walk, I was able to go straight into the kitchen and start making jam. So that was cool. And that's now going on 4 years. And then after I started this job, I finally got like this steady job that paid pretty well. I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna whew, just take a breath. And then this opportunity came. A friend of mine who I'd only met once, twice, once. I met him once on a cruise. We went on a cruise, and he messaged my sister-in-law, and he was like, because everyone knows that I was thinking about doing a podcast. He messaged my sister-in-law. He was like, my friends in Florida are doing a podcast workshop. Amy should go. And this was like January 2022. So I was like, COVID. COVID is a thing still. Um, and Florida. And it's really expensive. Like I literally just started this job. Like I can't really afford it. And so he was like, I will. And so I finally like contacted him, and he said, I will give you points. I rack up so many points. He's constantly traveling for work. Um, he was like, I will offer you points to get down there. You just have to pay for the workshop. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was just such a generous thing that there is no way that I could say no. Like, thank you for this huge offer. I'm going to pass. So I went, and I now have a podcast. Almost 2 years.
I I love that. We all need friends like that. You know, sometimes friends who can really see your passion end up pushing you to the right direction. My friend was the one who was like, you need to start a podcast, and here we are. So it's amazing to have people around you who believe in you
Yeah.
before you even believe in yourself. Because there's a different thing about believing me while I'm believing myself, but believing in me before even I can believe in myself. That's a
Oh my
whole
gosh.
other.
100%. When I was at that workshop, I cried so much. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to say. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I can't talk on a microphone. Who am I going to talk to? Who's going to talk to me? Uh, you get over that, right?
You do. Well, I don't know if I still get over it. Like, I still get some jitters and shit. And now the fact that I do it live, I always be like, is my hair good? Am I going by myself? Am I going to look, I'm sleepy? Are they going to feel my. Like, I feel like now because I come on live, the pressure is even more. But I still love it, like, because as soon as I get in here and I'm sitting and having conversations, I forget, like, it just goes away, like, But
Absolutely. Yeah, if it was just me, I would be a mess. I would be an absolute mess. Like, absolutely not am I talking to a microphone, just me with a blank screen. No, thank you. No.
never say never. You never know. I mean, I've realized in this podcasting industry, I'm never gonna say never because I said I would never do videos when I started doing videos. I said I'll never go live, and here I am going live. I think I need to just stop saying I never will because next thing you know, you're starting a whole new podcast just by yourself of just sharing some pointers of 10 minutes, and I'll be like. Amy, remember when you said you could never talk behind the microphone by yourself?
Right? Yeah. I mean, that it just comes with experience and practice, right? But I'm so impressed with you how you're able to do that. I mean, the whole the going live thing is so cool because like I remember you said like that I don't want to edit. And I totally get that, but at the same time like you are authentic 100%. Like you are on and whatever you say and you can't take it back, right?
Yeah, which is very true. But the more on the editing part is because when I do like when I was pre-recording, right? Because I know it's recorded and things can be edited. So sometimes we just forget that we are recording and start talking all this other stuff. And then I'm like, oh fuck, now I gotta take a whole 30 minutes because we went this way. But when I'm live, I'm like, okay, I know I have to put it in 1 hour, and when I see the time coming up, I'm like, okay, I gotta wrap it up. Maybe we'll have them back.
I've had it happen the total opposite from that. I've like, all right, so we'll get to recording at some point, and we're just doing like pre-talk. And then I'm like, oh, it's been like an hour and a half. Oh my gosh, I haven't hit record. And they're like, you haven't recorded any of this? I'm like, oh.
Oh my god! But those are legit podcaster problems, like not hitting record soon enough or forgetting to hit record, or just sometimes even doing those pre-calls, you get the most authentic conversation, and as soon as you hit record it just goes and you're like, damn, I should have recorded that part because she never now mentioned it. It's gone. It's like, so I used to try to like be on record as soon as people sit down, and if that certain patch doesn't need to be, I'm like, okay, I'll take that out. But sometimes it's also amazing how you end up with bloopers and shit because of you constantly being online,
Yeah.
like on recording. But some people also get weird once they know, oh, you're already recording. Like it really, there's no formula to this shit. Like,
Yeah. I mean, I totally get that. And I would love to have those. And I do have them for one person, but my issue is I don't have a video editor. So, and I do use YouTube for my interviews. So I can edit out the audio. I have my recorded audio, but
mm,
then if I have my bloopers on, I can't edit those off. I can't cut them off and then, save, because some people are like, oh, I'll save the bloopers for like my Patreon people, the people that are paying extra. I can't do that.
yeah.
It's all or nothing on YouTube. And so I've totally like I had just a few weeks ago, I had a farmer who's like farmers never get to talk. Like they're just workaholics. And so this guy, I love him. I love him. And he never gets to talk. And he just like 2.5 hours, no joke. And I was like, I couldn't bear to stop him. And I was like, I really don't love two-part episodes. Um, but I know that people don't have the attention span to listen for 2.5 hours. So I was like, there's no way I'm cutting any of this out. So I just cut it in half and I'm like, they're just gonna be long episodes, okay? It's all good information. Like it's all good. Like I'm not leaving anything out. Listen to the farmer, damn it.
I, I feel that, and you're so right, because I recently started watching Farmer's Wife and I was cracking because somebody at podcast told me to watch Farmer's Wife and I was cracking at the show, and these farmers and the type of girls who came to be farmers' wives. Like it was like, this is a disaster waiting to happen. It's like, but I really get what you're saying about video. The reason why I used to record video, but I never had my videos on YouTube because I don't know how to edit video. And I was like, my YouTube page is going to waste. I have all these videos, and I know because on the audio I can edit certain parts, but on the video, how do I edit? Or let's take a break and go to the restroom because we were drinking so much.
Right?
Oh shit! And I'm like, then in the beginning I had like a membership plan where the videos were only going to the membership plan, but then I stopped that website. And it's funny, my brother still pays for that, and today I received the payment like 9.99, and I'm like, I haven't had that membership for like 2 years right now, but his contribution is always appreciated. But
Oh, so he's still paying for this
he's
subscription that
still
you're not
paying for the
using.
subscription
But he's
that is
paying
not.
you.
Yeah, it's not even there. Like it's been gone for 2 years. I haven't had a website for 2 years, but every beginning of the month, I get a notification of 9.99. Today, I literally got it, and I was like, I can't believe this boy is still paying 9.99 a month. But that goes to the podcasting contribution.
Right.
But so that's why I also wanted to go live. I was like, I want my videos on YouTube, so if I go live, I don't have to worry about editing them because I'm already on live. Right? So this was a way of sorting all my other issues. Now I have the issues of how do I put the audios into my RSS feed? Do I start a new show? Do I put them under TalkShitWithP? Do I drop them all together at the same time? Do I do one a week? Because I don't want to promote, but I want the audios to go there. So it's like there's always something that you're trying to figure out in this podcasting, which just needs to
Oh my gosh,
elevate your
right?
game.
Right. Do I do more? Do I do less? Do I automate? Do I do authentic? Do I add more? Do I do bloopers? Do I do Patreon? Oh my gosh.
Do I have a membership? Do I know? Do I have a page? Do I have a group? What social media to belong to? Where to? How do I get followers and reviews? It is it's funny that you don't even think how much you think about these things because they're constantly in your head. Like everything you do, every content you create, you're like, will this work on YouTube? Will it work on? Should it be square or vertical? If it's vertical, it's gonna be a reel. If it's square, it's just like, oh my god, my brain is never sleeping.
I have to say I never think about that.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
I only just recently figured out the difference between reels and stories.
My mind is constantly thinking about content because I love the content creating part. I hate the social media part, like the posting and the captions but the creating part, either being in front of the camera or directing, I can do that all day long. Like literally today I've been sitting and creating. I have so much content that I don't even know when I'm going to be posting all this content because when I sit, all I do is just create content. But when you also have too much content, it's too much issues. When you have less content, it's issues. Like,
there's always something, right?
yes, but let me ask you, right? You said you had a jam business. How did you get into jam? Like, why did you wake up and say, I'm gonna start making jam? Like, have you always wanted to make jam?
I didn't. I didn't, and I never ever ever dreamed of having a business. Like I'm like, I'm not good with money. Like you don't want me managing money. But
You said I'm gonna be an employee forever, and now look at you.
Oh, it's tiny. It's just me. It's just me. But I grew up as a Mormon, and so we always did like canning and stuff like that. I lived on a farm with some friends, and I learned canning, like pickled beets. Oh my gosh. So I learned how to do stuff like that. And when I lived on my own, I did a little bit. And then I moved in with my now husband, and he makes good money and I don't make great money. So I was like, in order to, my contribution would be to grow the garden and preserve the food. And that would be, saving money is like making money, right? It's the opposite, but it's the same. And so I was just preserving food and making jam so that we didn't have to buy jam. And my sister got married in 2014, and I made little jars of jam for all of their guests. And they were all different, and they just went crazy for them. And my sisters were like,
how many guests did she have?
It was like 120.
Damn, girl.
But they were like, you have to do this. You got to do this. And I was like,
family.
And literally, like, it was never a plan. But then, like, the car accident, and I was out of work. I had nothing else to do. People were like, just catch up on Netflix or whatever. And I'm like, I am so not watching TV. So I was like doing workshops and webinars and stuff like that, and just getting myself all psyched up. And so I was like, let's give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen, right?
So the car accident was a blessing in disguise. I feel like that's why they say, even COVID, I tell people, COVID needed to happen for for most of us to wake the fuck up. Like it needed to. And sometimes we don't like while we are going through that, we don't think about it, but after a while you're like, without that happening, I wouldn't have had the time to actually invest in this shit that I'm now enjoying.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
how many flavors do you make of jam, out of curiosity?
10 to 12 maybe.
Do
I
you
mean,
ship?
I do.
I feel like I need to try some of these jams. I used to be such a jam girl, and then I stopped eating bread. And then, but I could. The only way to get me to eat bread is with jam. Like I'm not eating bread without jam.
Yeah, that's pretty
and,
much the only way I eat bread too.
and I've never been like how people are with peanut butter. Like to me, it was like a once in a while kind of thing, like peanut butter and blue band are once in a while, but the jam are everyday shit. Jam and Nutella, those were my things. Like my bread, and Nutella wasn't for the bread. Nutella was just for the licking, the finger licking.
I love Nutella on saltines because the
Ah.
salty cracker it makes it not as dry feeling. I don't know. I do weird things with salty, but I love Nutella with saltines, but then I do jam on toast every single morning. So either jam with bread or garlic with bread. Like garlic bread. Oh my gosh, I can't stop
No.
that. But yeah, garlic or jam on my bread.
Nice. So, do you have a website for people to go order this jam or see, or how do people get to
I
try it?
do.
All
I
right, let the
do.
people know where they can find this jam. You
Just
see, when I request people's bios, these are the things that should also be a part of your bio. I did not see anything about jam in your bio or a website for jams.
well, surprise. So you can find my jam. The business is called Amy's Garden Jam, and it is amysgardenjam.com.
And it's funny, that's also an email. So as soon as you find, if you want to connect to that too, just add at gmail.com, and that's the email. So
amysgardenjam@gmail.com is my email also.
I love that. I love that. I'm definitely going to visit that. And since we're talking about jam and you were talking about preserving and everything, your podcast, Grounded in Maine, is a sustainability podcast. I remember when I didn't start to learn a lot about sustainability until when I got into grad school, and I'm an hospitality student, meaning that I studied hotel and tourism. And by the time I got to grad school, which was in 2014, we were talking about all the sustainability hotels and sustainability lighting and everything. And that's when it really started picking in me. So I don't know for other people how they came connected with sustainability, but I'd like to know about you, your journey with sustainability. Why was that important? And now you are literally educating and giving voices on your podcast to sustainability.
Mm. Excuse me. I actually worked at a hotel for many years, so that's really fun. I didn't know that about you. Uh, I grew up in the 80s, which for me was a time of like excess and fun and like, big hairspray and loud engines. And I just remember being loud and carefree and, we didn't care about anything and we killed the atmosphere. It's our fault. And so I feel part of it is that I feel responsible and I feel like I need to do a little payback. I mean, not me personally. I didn't do the hairspray thing because my hair was too big for hairspray. Um, but but yeah, I just feel like we've done some damage and we need to repair. And also, it's just with especially after COVID. Like COVID for me was really hard because in the beginning when you're just glued to the news because every single day and every 10 minutes there's like new news and like more people are getting sick and more people are dying and it's just like traumatic. It is just awful and you just can't pull yourself away. And I had to quit. I had to quit the news. I just stopped watching. And then it's getting like that almost for me with with the climate at this point. Like it's just there's always like wildfires. My husband was just telling me there's a wildfire in Texas right now. Just like today. And
I remember when there would be once a year wildfire, and it would always be like in Toronto or some. But now it feels like every other day there's tornado or
yeah,
wildfire or uh something. Oh my
yeah.
god.
But like it's raining and 60 degrees in March in Maine, which is ridiculous. Like climate is changing and people are in denial and we need to do something. And so I'm just like, the word sustainability is huge. It can mean so many different things. And so it can feel overwhelming. And so it's just to like encourage people um, to get creative about it. Because there are so many ways we can do it. We don't all have to have solar panels covering our property. We don't have to have 10-acre farms. We don't have to have all the money in the world. Like it just, it helps obviously, but we can't and we don't have to. There's something that everyone can do. Like I had a guest on my podcast, Brenda, who she was so psyched to tell me that she makes her own broth. And it might not sound like a huge thing, but at the same time, like she's like, whenever I'm making food, I have vegetable scraps and I just put those vegetable scraps in a bag in the freezer. And then when I want to make broth, I just add water. She's like, it literally costs zero. It costs nothing. And
Especially without sorry, but especially without groceries, the prices are going up on these groceries. Hell
yeah,
yeah, preserve it.
yeah. But like, I mean, it costs you nothing. You're using your scraps and you know exactly what's in it. Whereas if you buy it at the grocery store, it comes in those cartons that are like, what, $5? And they're coated in plastic or wax. So it can't be recycled. It can't be composted. It has to be thrown away. So it's going in the landfill and it's got like, I don't know, chemicals, but like preservatives and stuff like that because it's shelf stable. So you're like saving money. You know exactly what's in it. It's fresh and it costs nothing. I'm like, that's amazing. Go you. But and the people there's like a guy that lives off the grid and people that are like farming. I just had a lady that I talked to Sunday morning who is a sustainable travel guide. I call her a travel concierge in Italy. I'm like, you go. That's amazing. Cause she's like, not even just the big sites, but like she's going to give you an experience. Like she had some people come and they like made a little statue. They were sculpting and they did a cooking class and they danced and they like all this stuff, and like you have all these like hands-on things to remember and not just like
Mhm.
sitting on a bus and taking pictures, because if you don't have those pictures you don't remember. You have the smells and you have the taste and the all that stuff. And she was like, and it's less of a carbon footprint and it's these beautiful places that are not crowded with people. I'm like, sign me up. uh
I love that. You get the authenticity of the city and actually, but then again, the pictures are important. If you haven't taken a picture of Paula at Podfest, were you really at Podfest?
right.
But you gotta post them up on to make people feel bad so that next year now people are gonna be like, oh my god, I didn't take a picture of Paula at Podfest last year. I need to take a picture of Paula this year. So you gotta give people reasons
You know
to
what you should
envy.
what you should do, Paula, is get like a cutout. You should get a cutout and put it at Podfest next year and just have people like take your picture with Paula, damn it.
Don't tempt me. Don't
Because
tempt me.
I'm
I
too
might.
busy. I'm too busy. I am the mayor.
Don't tempt me because I might just do that, and I'll make sure it has a sachet saying "man" and then holding a handle like one of these. But you know how it says you gotta unmute. It's gonna say out of office and it's gonna hold there. So like I'm out of office, but you can take a picture with this cardboard at the moment.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
I have to start looking for cardboard builders in Florida now because shipping that from Atlanta, traveling with it from Atlanta won't be a good idea. I need to find somebody
I'm
down
sure there are
there.
people. I'm sure there are people.
Oh my God, that's gonna be so funny, yeah. But it's amazing you really say, because you know what you said about sustainability. The word itself, there's a lot that comes with it, and I like that your show doesn't base on it bases on different sectors and different parts of sustainability. It's really educating people that there's ways where it really requires a lot of money to be sustainable, and there are ways where you can be without any and save yourself money while doing it. So I love that. I'm curious, how did the name Grounded in Maine come? Like, well, I always wonder how people come up with their podcast name. Like, when did it click? Like, Grounded in Maine. That's it.
Well, at this podcast retreat, the podcast workshop that I went to in Florida, we came up with the name. And so grounded is just that, like, my happy place is sitting outside with um we have a little lawn swing, so sitting on my lawn swing with my chickens walking around, my dog sitting beside me, like, just I feel so grounded, like, just peaceful, sitting in my backyard, like, being in nature, being calm just makes me feel so grounded. And obviously I'm in Maine, so grounded in Maine. Papa.
I love that. I love the fact that you have chickens. You remind me back home because I'm from Tanzania. I grew up in, and my backyard, my grandparents, they grew chickens, so we had fresh eggs, and they always in the morning you let them out, they wander, and then at night you have to take them back to their try to push them all in, and
Oh,
some are
did you?
running around. Filling
Oh,
them with water. It was a whole.
did you
I
have a
grew up with
lot?
chickens.
Do you have
We
a
we
lot of
did
them?
a lot. Yeah, we did a lot. And they would sell them also for chicken, of course, and eggs as well. And but yeah, we had a whole, not a farm, but kind of like a chicken farm in the backyard in my grandparents' house. So,
Okay.
and they had a dog, a cat farm, and goats. So like I legit grew up with animals, and in Africa we grow most of our shit, right? Most people grow in
Yeah.
where we do grow our vegetables and our fruits, and so
Yeah.
most of us had that. Like that was the alarm you needed in the morning. And you're like, okay, it's 5 a.m. Time to wake up. Are you there? Oh, are you stuck? Oh, okay. All right. So I love the fact that you went to this workshop. By the way, do you remember the name of the workshop that inspired you and got you into getting your podcast? Oh, okay.
Podcast away with 10K
Nice.
in Orlando. It was They actually just finished their podcast after 6 years. It was called 10K Dollar Day, and it was hysterical. It was two girls that they spent 10,000 imaginary dollars in real places in the world. Like, they would just research places in the world and spend, they would, like, travel there and spend money.
Oh, wow.
But
Must be
they're both
nice.
like performers and comedians. It was imaginary though. It was all They were like, if
Oh,
you had $10,000, how would you spend it? If you
ah,
did. So,
I love that.
yes, it was fun. But
So,
yeah, they were great. And I had never met my friend that gave me his points to get there. He was there, and he was the only person that I knew there. But now I'm friends with all of the people that were there.
which we're getting to, because Amy, you are the master of connection and networking. And I love that because I'm big on connection. I suck at networking. Like, I'm good at networking, but I also suck. Like, going out to find places to go to network, that's hard. But once I'm in a networking place, if somebody invites me, I'm good at networking. So I'm good at networking in that way, just not in the way of, because I know some people are good at finding all the networking events and making sure they show up for them. I just wait to be invited, which is kind of a very fucked up thing. I need to start actually searching that. So what got you into being? Because first of all, it takes a lot to be a connector. Not a lot of people. I love the podcasting industry because I feel like we are more collaborative and supportive. But in the real life world, when somebody has their connection, they really don't like to share their connection or offer ways to get in touch with their connection. They'll be like, "Oh, I know a guy. Let me talk to them and I'll get back to you." And they never get back to you. While here, you're like, "Oh yeah, let me do that," and quick, quick, like 1, 2, 3, you're already in front of the guy's
Right.
face. So it takes a,
Well, especially the
a different.
podcasting world, you're like, you know that they're going to want to talk to them. So you're like,
Yeah,
here's their email
yeah,
address. You just send them an email.
yeah. So, but how did you get into the world of being like, I want to connect people, I want to be a networker? Because not, I know some podcasters who are very introverted and they're like, I need to be out with people. No, I don't want that. And there are those who like can't wait to be out with people.
Oh,
Did this part start after getting into the podcasting industry, or did you have that before and you just kind of dived with it?
it's always been there. It's always been there. I mean, I worked at the hotel, so I would always
Oh
like make
yeah.
connections at the hotel, like, and I was in before even connections, like it was always like patterns for me. Like if I'm trying to remember like how it would work, but if I'm someone's reading their phone number or something like that, I'm like, oh, you've got double blah blah blah. You know, I'm like, oh, that's really fun. Or you have like three numbers to remember your whole phone number, like stuff like that. And it's weird. It's a one of those dumb like trivia things, but I've always been funny about patterns like that. And then when I would meet people, I'd be like, oh, I know someone there. How's your, if someone was from Connecticut, oh, I've got family there. Where are you from in Connecticut? And like, just strike up conversation. And people are like, oh, I'm from here, blah, blah, blah. And I've been to that place. And I love doing that, making those connections and having a personal connection with people because it makes such a difference. Like people have a more memorable experience. I have a more memorable experience with people. I know that they do if they feel like, and it's not like superficial with me, at least. Like I know like working the hospitality business. You've probably been around this, but like I remember the innkeeper would say, well, we've got travel writers coming, make sure you take extra special good care of them. I'm like, I'm going to take as good care of them as I take of
Okay,
everyone because
everyone,
everyone
yeah.
is special to me. And so I was just like, I'm not doing that because everyone matters. But and then in podcasting, oh my gosh, like I'm joining all the groups that I can and making connections as much as I can. Like I'm not getting as much out of it as I probably should, like intellectually and podcast wise, but I'm meeting people. So
And sometimes that's what you're getting, because I I feel like I want to meet people, and then having those deeper connection with different people gets me the education I want compared than being in the group. Because I hate being in groups. Like I join for support and everything, and knowing that they're there, and I will try show up and support. But to really engage in groups in a, like, I barely do that. I love those, like, unless it's in person. In person it's easy, but on the phone, like, because I know I talk very sarcastic, so sometimes messages can be read in a very different way or come across very different. So
for
I
sure.
try not to, unless somebody really knows me. They're like, oh, that's just how Paula talks, because you've already been around me and you know how I talk.
Right.
So I try not to do that. But I've also been that big in connection. Like if I know someone, oh, you're from there? Oh, you go to school there? I know my friend is there. And for me, it's that saying that I've created a connection, and to see how that ends up growing or what they end up doing together, that makes me so happy. Just even me seeing all the connections I make, the networking, and then looking back and seeing like, yo, last year when we were Podfest, we were like this. And look at now, we are like this. Just to see the growth in those
Mhm.
connections is something so special about that shit.
Right. I mean, so Podfest, I have this like inferiority complex. Like I don't have a really high opinion of myself. And so in a group of 2,000 podcasters who are all like experts in their field, I would tend to be a wallflower and like I have nothing to contribute here. I'm just going to stand back. And so I pushed myself and I was like, I'm going to volunteer as much as I can and be helpful because I'm like 2,000 people are going to be needy, right? And so I'll be helpful because I also have that hospitality thing um,
Mhm.
ingrained in me. But I was like, that's going to like push me to be social.
Mhm.
And so I was like doing registration. So I met like half the people. I had to. Like I
Oh yeah.
learned their names and I'm like, "Oh, look at your podcast name. What's that about? Tell me about your podcast. Where are you from?"
And that's why I love podcasting. I think the reason also I became very comfortable with podcasts and everything is through volunteering. And last year the hotel was different, the reception was different, and I was doing a bunch of this work. And it got to like I know I would have met some of the people, but I wouldn't have met as many people as I did while volunteering because it gives you access to different sectors. And when people know you're volunteering, people just walk up to you compared when you're just another fellow podcaster. And it is a lot of people, like even I'm looking at some of the pictures and I was like, oh my God, you were there, you were there. Like, I didn't get to see a lot of people, and yet I also still saw so many people.
Right. Well, and then on the other end, like if you're volunteering and they see you in the green t-shirt or whatever, like they'll remember you and then they'll be like, "Oh, I met someone, you know,
Yeah.
I saw Amy, she was at the registration table or I met Paula, she was everywhere." Um Paula, that's right. But like, they remember, it's like you're I loved hospitality because I'm like the face of the business, right? Like I always took that on. That's my ownership. And so I've kept that. Like I've always kept that. Like I am the first experience. I'm the first
Oh yeah.
impression. I'm the first impression
Yeah.
that people get of the business or
Yeah.
or Podfest or whatever you're registering. I'm the smiling
You're the
face that
first
you're
person
going
you
to walk
meet.
to. Right. And so, if you walk up to someone who's all grumpy, you're going to be like, "Oh, great. Great Podfest. Yippee." Or whatever.
This is how my day starts.
But someone who's
But
inquisitive and excited
yeah.
to see you, like that's a great start.
That's so true. And as you said also about because I worked in hotel, I worked in events, and um you're right about making feel everybody special. I tell everybody whether you're a janitor, you're cleaning the bathroom, or you're the I'm gonna treat you all the same. Because not only being anything, but today, tomorrow, we never know. And sometimes you never know why a person is a janitor. Just because there are people who love being janitors while you are thinking about, oh, that's a lot, there are people who love, and they might be even millionaires, but they just decided they're bored, they want something to enjoy and go do that. And there are people who they've had a bad start in life, and that's where they are, but it's not because they want to be there or they choose to. So it's always, I feel like you should always treat everybody that, and that's why I like this Keith, Keith Lee who goes into restaurants and orders food and then reviews them and doesn't accept special treatments because now he's been big on TikTok with his reviews and people listen and go to those restaurants. Now the restaurants want when they know it's actually him, they try to kind of change the
Mhm.
service. So he always sends his sister or someone because it's like, no, give me the same service that you would give if I wasn't who you thought I am. Like,
Right?
let's see you in your prime. Why are you picking and choosing who should get? Because everybody's spending their money, right? It's not like the people who are not famous, you're giving them a free meal. They're still spending their money in your establishment.
And
So,
the famous people should be paying because they have the money.
exactly. And half of the time, they don't even tip and they're rude. At least you might as well give more love to this person who's spending their hard earned money that they saved up for. Probably some people save up for like a month to go into their favorite bougie restaurant to have that experience, and you're ruining it for them, you know?
Right? Right.
But as we come towards an end of this, there's two things I want to bring up. You said you are a closeted singer. Why are you a closeted singer?
I used to be a really good singer. I am a really good singer. Anxiety just took over. I just can't
Well,
do it.
Fuck anxiety, because we're not gonna let anxiety win. Do you know about Friday night karaoke, the group, the Moped Boys group? So did you get to meet Moped Boys, Mike and Joe? All right, you should have gone to their booth. That's where I was hanging a lot. They had the beers. So if anytime you saw me with a beer, blame it on them. They had beers in their booth. But they have incredible service for their podcast, but they're also big on community, and they created a Friday night karaoke during COVID for people to sing karaoke, and now it has become a big podcast. They even have a podcast. So on their group, people just post videos of them singing. They have events virtual, they have competitions, like fun competitions, like they'll do like this week is the 80s, bring your best 80s, and then the most loved song gets a gift card for Amazon. They do amazing stuff to just, and
That's
it's
fun.
yeah, it's a negativity free, like nobody's there to critique, because it's not about trying to be a good singer or not. It's just about people having fun, no judgment, no nothing. So check that out. Maybe it can help bring you back into your group, because fuck anxiety.
Maybe.
And second, you also volunteer weekly at an organic farm, and I love that this organic farm, they donate to local food pantries and other communities. You want to share a little bit light on this farm, so that, because that's an amazing thing they're doing, and I love philanthropy work. I love people who give back, and anything they're doing to help out the community and families. Shed some light on them.
Yeah. So it's called Growing to Give. And they're like a mile and a half from my house. They're really not far. And a friend invited me to go. This is like 7 years ago, maybe, and to like an open house. And I was like, well, I they're too close. It's not like I can say I have something better to do and it's too far. But so I went and I fell in love. Like the people I'm like I think this is my 6th or 7th year of going, and I'm
No.
like the Saturday morning crew. There are a few of us that have been going all along. Um and we're going this Saturday. It's the first Saturday all winter, which is exciting. But we work all week long, and it's run by volunteers. There's one, the farm manager, and she has an assistant. Everyone else is a volunteer, and we grow organic produce just to donate it to food pantries and like retirement villages and stuff like that. Because we have a terrible food insecure population here in Maine. And I'm sure it's everywhere, but we have the opportunity to do that in our area. And so we get to do that. And so I feel like it's been like 90 something thousand pounds of produce that we've donated so far.
Yeah. Do they have a website?
They do. It is growingtogive.farm.
That's fine. So y'all go support any way you can, because anybody who's doing incredible things for the community to bring that together, that's like a great, like, somebody who's just, people who are just taking time out to help grow produce, to provide for the community. That's incredible. So go support,
Yeah.
go share, go support, and if you're ever in Maine, go volunteer. You
Yeah,
know.
come volunteer. Come in July. We're having our big farmyard jam, food trucks and games, and they got goats. We can play with
Mm,
goats.
I haven't seen a goat in a while. I might have to come. But one last question before we go off.
Oh,
Why soap? I know you said you want to learn to make soap. I'm curious. Why soap?
I have actually learned to make soap since I started, but I want to be more sufficient in things. Like I hate buying soap. It's annoying.
So
I
the bar soaps, amazing. My sister-in-law also does that, and she used to be in Tanzania. I mean, she's white, she's American. She was working in, she works for the UN. She was in Tanzania, and when she visited me, she brought me a soap, and now she's moved back here with her husband, who's my brother. I need to connect you guys so you can talk soap.
yeah.
One Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let the people know where they can find you, where they can find your podcast, what to expect from you, if there's anything you want to share, and any advice for somebody out there who's scared of their midlife crisis. Just like how you had your mind switch, what advice would you give for somebody who requires a mind switch on their midlife crisis right now?
Well, I mean, I did not trademark the phrase season of discovery. So feel free to use that. But just try to reframe it, because it doesn't, I mean, it was hard at first, but it also has become like a strength for me. Like I've out of this out of that really hard time has come also some really big um like aha moments for me. Like my podcast came out of my season of discovery.
And you won an award. Oh my God, I forgot to say about that. She's an award winning. She has won an award. You did win an award at Sonic, right? At Podfest.
My podcast did. It
Yes.
was the artwork, which was not mine, but my podcast did, yes.
I mean, you paid for it, or you bought it, or you worked with it. It's your artwork now, so.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I have a friend who I never met. I've never met her in person. We're just Instagram friends, and literally just sent it to me one day, and she said, "Use it or don't use it." Like I just needed to get it out of my head.
Oh my God. You see the power of just beautiful people. Like beautiful people are out there. Thank you for reminding us on that, because all the stories you've shared is about beautiful people who have just pushed you into your
Yeah.
aha moments. All right. And where can they find the website to connect with you, your community?
Yeah. Groundedinmaine.com is the website for the podcast. It's also, you can find groundedinmaine.com also on amysgardenjam.com. There's a tab for the podcast on that as well. I'm on Instagram mostly on Instagram, and that is Grounded in Maine podcast, just like it says on the screen right there. I'm on Facebook too, but most of everything I do on Facebook is just copied from Instagram.
We all do that. We all have the same shit on all platforms just to be on all platforms. But thank you so much, Hemi, for hanging out with me and inspiring us to reframe most of the shifts in our life. That's how I'm gonna go with it. And thank you for just being amazing and incredible. And I'm glad I finally found our picture together. So you know.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad I saved that. Yeah, and I mean, I'm also on my podcast this year. I'm going to be focusing a lot on like personal sustainability because of the whole like menopause thing and whatever, the season of discovery. So I'm going to be doing. I'm working on putting together a menopause panel, because
Mm,
it is just something that needs to be talked about more. So just
amen.
some people that are experiencing menopause in different ways, and just to talk about it, and because people just need to hear it.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm not there yet, but it's never too late to learn and understand. And once you're putting up the panel and it's coming up, if you ever want to come talk about it over here or share, you're always welcome back
Mm,
anytime. Thank
okay.
you for all who tuned in. For those who are going to watch replays, go and show support to Amy. Go buy a jam. Go check out the farm and support in any ways you can. And stay sustainable, okay? This is all for Shit Happens. Actually, I have one more. I will be back at 10 o'clock tonight to
Whoop,
talk
whoop.
mental health and creativity journeys. I'm excited about that. And until then, thank you for hanging out with us at Shit Happens, where shit always happens.